Hello, this is Terry Gant of Third Coast Comics with another episode of Doomsday, Clerk. This is episode 11. It's been a few weeks since I've done any of these. It might even be more like a month since I've done any of these, but it's been pretty busy with the holiday shopping season getting underway and all that kind of stuff. We've also done a few different media hits. You may have seen us on Chicago Tonight, and you may have heard an NPR/WBEZ bit that we did. All that stuff is well and good, but I haven't been doing a lot of keeping you guys apprised of really cool things coming out in comics, so much as I've been talking about ways in which I can get you comics, which is still a thing that we're absolutely focused on doing, right? So I want to talk now about a few things that have come in recently that I think are pretty cool and that you might want to know about for when you're hitting your local comic shop, whether it's mine or any particular other one, who cares, but hopefully mine. But here we go. So one thing that is concluded is there was a 5-issue series called Alien, the original screenplay. That would be this thing, and it's basically the original screenplay of Dan O'Bannon, who wrote Alien, and what this basically is what was intended for that movie before the studios got involved and before all of the other kind of design work and effects and the Giger-ishness went into it. There's still a lot of H.R. Giger in this. You can kind of tell that it's a good thing that they probably went to that guy for overall design, because the original screenplay, at least the way this is drawn, very much says that's the kind of guy that you really do want to be brought in, which is probably why it's such a classic. It's design and the screenplay as it did end up were fantastic, and this is actually a pretty cool thing to have for a fan of that particular movie or the genre of humans who go around mucking with things they shouldn't be mucking with and end up getting all destroyed by it or whatever. That seems to be a whole sci-fi genre, so if you love that kind of thing, I like a lot of it, so why not grab something like that? There's also a book called Graveyard Wars. Graveyard Wars is basically it's right there for you if you're fans of things like Brian Lumley's Necroscope series in horror. Effectively, people who have near-death experiences are able to access the skills and abilities of people who've already passed on. So if you need the skills of a welder and you've had a near-death experience, you are being called upon to use those welding skills to kind of help in sort of a struggle between two different factions. And I think it's kind of a cool thing. It's written by the guy who wrote, by A.J. Lieberman, who wrote Cowboy Ninja Viking. And if you read Cowboy Ninja Viking, that's kind of one of those weird sort of classics of the last 10 years of Image Comics, I would say. If you haven't read it, go out and get it. It's about a guy who basically has the personalities of a cowboy, a ninja, and a Viking all in his head at the same time, kind of all speaking at the same time. And kind of he has the abilities of those things, and then he ends up coming across somebody with the skills of a oceanographer and a pirate or something, I don't know, whatever, something like that. But it was cool, right? It's been a while since I read it, but I would advise everybody run out and grab that, as well as try to find Graveyard Wars. It's by Ablaze, which is more or less a newer kind of comics publishing house that does a lot of cool stuff. So grab that. That's Graveyard Wars. I've also got two things, I'll disappear out of the frame, from DC Comics that are collected now on a nice oversized hardcover from Black Label. The first is The Question, The Deaths of Vic Sage. And if you're Question fans, yeah, can you see that? Great. If you're Question fans and you missed out on this, it's Jeff Lemire and Dennis Cowan. And I don't know, if I had to have two people doing The Question, I'd want Jeff Lemire and Dennis Cowan doing it. They did a fantastic job. Dennis Cowan's a legendary question artist, and to have Lemire come in and also have Chris Bill Sienkiewicz involved in it, and Chris Sotomayor, I think that this is a phenomenal book, and you should run out and get it at whatever comic shop you can. But Third Coast Comics at 6443 North Sheridan Road is right here for you if you choose to grab a hold of this thing. I've also got Wonder Woman Dead Earth by Daniel Warren Johnson. Daniel Warren Johnson's basically around Chicago. I mean, this dude, he's wowed people for years with his work, with his ability to compose, with his command of light and dark, with his values. This guy and values in art. I mean, he's a nice guy too. He's got great values and pretty good judgment in pro wrestling too. So he's an awesome dude. I am so glad this got done. It's a story in which Wonder Woman wakes up in the future, having been put in suspended animation or something, and she's awake and has discovered that the world is entirely different than it was when she went into this suspended animation situation, and all of her basically superhero friends are all gone, and it's up to her to make some kind of sense of this post-apocalyptic world that she's found herself in. And Daniel Warren Johnson just kills it. If it's like Mad Max Fury Road, but it's Wonder Woman with a utility belt and a sword, and just it's Kirby, it's all this kind of stuff. Like, it's everything that you would want in like a completely off the wall sort of a Wonder Woman scenario, right? I think it's great, and I highly recommend it. I've been recommending it for a long time, while even just the single issues were coming out. But now it's collected. And the last thing I have for you is something that I'm a little shocked at the price point of, but I'm really glad it is not all that expensive. It is this. There's like a Chris Ware retrospective thing, basically on the history and the design work and kind of this dude's whole career, right? I can say, if you walk into a comic shop and just say, hey, do you have a giant ass book about Chris Ware? You know, like, if they do, you should grab this thing, because it's got, like, look at all this, right? Like, this is insane. Like, Chris Ware himself is probably somebody who should be on a watch list for his, like, insane, crazy attention to detail and design. Like, he's clearly got skills, but he might also have some other issues, like the ability to, I don't know, see time. I don't understand Chris Ware. I really don't. Like, it's got elements of building stories in it. Even holding this book up, I feel like, it's like going to the gym, Like, this thing is phenomenal. And the really cool thing about it is it's only like $30, right? Like, the last time I saw anything that was this cool, it was Marvel put out a big giant like book called Behold Galactus like a year or two ago, and it was like, $50, but it was the size of like a $150 hardcover, and it was all of the Galactus stories that Marvel had put out in the Fantastic Four and other books that basically was all Fantastic Four stories, but it was all like Galactus appearances with Kirby and John Byrne, and it was only $50 and it's full color, So that was the last time I saw anything that would be that size with that much value for like under $100. So run out and grab those things. Come on here, Third Coast Comics, 6443 North Sheridan in Chicago, right on your Loyalist campus. If you need to take the L so that you can carry this big giant ass book home with you, then we're the Loyola stop. And if you've got a car, you might need like 4-wheel drive, because some of these books are massive and they're awesome. Come on down. All right, this has been episode 11 of Doomsday Clerk. If you need to email me to get in contact with me about anything that you might want, maybe to set up any kind of shipping for you, just let me know. My email address is Terry@Third Coast Comics, and I'm going to say it because everybody else does. Smash the like and subscribe button. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.